Sorry, my microphone did not want to stay up on my dress here, so I'm going to use my little tracing wheel to hold it up. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing the next episode of You Can Sew That. This is a series where I feature sewing patterns that you can use to recreate iconic looks from mainstream movies and TV shows. I've kicked off the series with Sex and the City. If you're interested in seeing episode 1 and 2, you can click in the description below. So with that, let's get started on episode 4 of Sex and the City, Valley of the 20-something Guys. We're starting off with Carrie's red blazer and pencil skirt as she once again is bumping into Big around the city. This is a very 90s ensemble, and as a vintage sewing pattern seller, I have probably 10 million variations of this type of pattern, and I feel like I had one exact one that I wanted to find. I couldn't find it that I felt like would have been perfect for this, but instead I found one that I think is going to be close enough, and that is Calvin Klein 2526. Carrie is wearing this big shoulder pad, nipped in waist, and the pencil skirt. And you get all of that with this Calvin Klein pattern. I would even take it in a little bit more around the waist to give that really emphasized look. And it does include the pencil skirt as well. I do actually have this pattern available in my Etsy and eBay store, Sewing Patterns to Go, so I'll leave a link for that below. Next up is Carrie's fur coat. I think I've covered this in every episode so far. It's featured a lot throughout this series, definitely one of her more iconic pieces. And I have this one pattern that I think is a good fit. I'll just mention it really quickly since I've already talked about it a lot, but that is Simplicity 9860. Next, we're showing Carrie and Samantha. They are at one of Samantha's PR events for an up-and-coming restaurant. Carrie is wearing this amazing, classic, slinky 90s dress, one shoulder, asymmetrical, and it turns into a thin spaghetti strap that goes down the back. And I think I have the perfect pattern for this, and that is Calvin Klein 1940. It looks so similar that I am starting to question if she's actually wearing a Calvin Klein in this episode. I've seen a couple available online, but they're definitely worth a pretty penny. I think this is pretty much as close to a replica as you can get to the dress that Carrie is wearing. It's a little hard to see her back, but I do think it has that strap going down the back. And then I would just shorten the dress to get that length that Carrie has. And I will also feature Samantha's look. She's wearing this bright royal blue jacket. It's a little hard to tell what the exact shape and fit is because she's seated in most of the episode, but I did pull this pattern from the 90s, and I think this pattern Simplicity 8036 should get you somewhat close. Next, let's get into some nightgowns that are worn by Carrie and Samantha as they're chatting and catching up about the evening that they just had. Carrie has this nightgown with a ruched bust line, a little bit of frill, and this really pretty ombre fabric. This was a bit more challenging to find an exact pattern for. So I found two patterns to kind of pattern hack and maybe try to smush them together to get the same look. The first one for that ruched bust, it's by Hyla Threads on Etsy. It is the scrunched bralette. I think if you combine this with the slip nightie that Brandy Joan has, I think you can start to kind of pull it together a little bit. It's probably not going to be perfect, but at least it's getting in the right direction. Let's move on to Samantha's slip dress and her robe. I think there's this vintage pattern, Simplicity 8486, that should give you the nice little lace detail placement for the slip and some for the robe as well. We have a quick shot of Carrie walking with Miranda in a black coat. It looks like it's wrapped really tight. I almost couldn't even tell at first was the film was a little bit grainy from the episode. There's definitely more of a fitted coat with a tie belt. I think this pattern, Vogue 2026, has that look that's a little bit more fitted and includes the tie belt. All right, we are going to end with Charlotte. She's wearing a very elegant blouse and a fitted skirt to go with it. So let's start with the blouse that Charlotte is wearing. I think Vogue pattern 8515 is a really good option for Charlotte's top. Just pair it with a nice satin to give that buttery smooth look that she has in the episode. And then for the fitted skirt, I think there's probably many patterns that could work. I did find one from New Look 6789 that I think fits the bill for a typical fitted skirt, and Charlotte has many of them in her wardrobe. Okay, that wraps up the third installment of You Can Sew That Sex and the City version. If this is something you're interested in, please consider subscribing. I try to post these videos a couple times a week, and if there's anything you want me to add to the series, please let me know. See you all in the next video.